So to kick this video off, my boy KJ go in by combing the hair completely down with the grain, basically training the hair, prepping the hair to cut it with a 1.5 blade. Also want to give a huge shout out to everybody that's following, everybody that's commenting, everybody that's engaging with the channel. I just appreciate it so much. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Today it's not a video on me, it's on my boy KJ, one of my co-workers, one of my dogs, somebody that inspired me to work and go crazy in the shop as well. So I'm shedding some light on my boy. He got a channel that's coming soon, so please just be on the lookout. But he going in with a 1.5 blade on the XL, and it's just so he can basically clear his bulk easier and quicker. And just remember, keep everything consistent, and because he's cutting with a blade opposed to a guard, everything will be cleared quicker. The bulk will be cleared so much easier, and it will be a more even cut, because anybody that know when you cut against the grain, it's a more even cut. The best part about using detachable blades, you can always one stroke things. Like you can be real confident with clippers like this when you clearing majority of the bulk, or you doing an even haircut. Those are always a great selection. Then he go in with the Andis Masters completely open with the grain, because it is a true one, and just lays down the top area by the braids. Then he go in with the Barber Magic pencil, starting to draw his design in. This is something that I picked up on, and this is something that is very important for this specific design, because he going in and specifically framing out certain parts of the design, setting himself up to ultimately do the petals of the flower, which is one of the dopest concepts and ideas that's out there. I have never tried this before, but this makes so much more sense, because when cutting hair, you are erasing from the canvas, but you can go in and assist it with things like the Barber Magic pencil to actually see the design before you carve it out. Sometimes your lines, you go in too thick, or sometimes you go in too skinny and can't get your design to look exactly how you want. But if you can go in with a Barber Magic pencil, you can literally frame everything out and just cut everything out. And this is just so dope. This was a dope tip. So if you haven't tried this, please try this. I want to give a huge shout out to my dog KJ again, because these is just jewels. Like the fact that I can understand how to do a design, and it's not even something that I like to do, is just dope. Watching him do this was just amazing. So he go in and he just add more to the design to make it 10 times more flavorful. And at the end of this design, I think you guys are gonna be very happy with what he's gonna present to you. So he basically go in and he's gonna cut out the first round line, and the first line that he made was round, which is gonna be the beginning of the flower, but he's going under it, seeing that he had to add more petals. One, he added more in the front, and then he added another one in the back, and it just wouldn't make sense to start all the way up there, seeing that the petals don't connect to it. So after that, he just basically go in with his Slimline Pros, and he just basically cut out everything he framed out. And you just gotta trust your process on things like this. You just gotta trust your hand. Like, that's the best part about the Barber Magic pencil, is even when he messed up on his lines, he went in and he erased certain lines just to redraw them in certain areas. You can always set yourself up for the kill shot. Like, that's the best thing about my industry. That's the best thing about what we do. It's so many things to help artists create the masterpieces, and there's so many ways to eliminate like techniques. The average person can't see this design. Like me, I can't see this design before putting it in, no matter how simple it looks. But assisting it with the Barber Magic pencil, I know for a fact I'll be able to execute. And then he goes in with his Andis T outliners, and he just reframe everything out, solidifying real hard lines before he get to putting a lot of pop and a lot of detail into the design. Keeping everything consistent and just tapping and going. And then right here, he's adding another petal. That's the dopest part about these designs and artists, and watching them work. Like, at times things can pop up that I didn't even see. Like, most of the time somebody will draw that design in, or just finish the design where it was before, opposed to adding on. Y'all gotta remember, details is the most important thing about anything. So he go in and solidify his ball line towards the bottom, just so he can create a dope transition between the design and the fade. Then he goes in with the end his mask is completely closed, bringing the fade up slowly but surely just so he can create some transition into the design to give it a more realistic look. And then he drops to his second lever right here just to clean up even more towards the bottom of it. And as you guys gonna see, he's gonna open up completely after this in certain sections of the design just to keep the petals darker. And as you guys can see, you are already starting to see the transition in the parts into the design, and he hasn't even completely finished the fade. Then he drops his clippers completely at 0 and just start to hit the tip of the design, which is going to give the petals a more realistic look and a nice transition. Keeping everything consistent, starting completely closed. Then he went halfway. He's on the second notch right now. He's basically blending that in, and then on the third notch now. Then going completely open right here. And now he's going to drop his clippers completely closed and just start to do detail work. Using the 1/16 guard, repeating all the steps, close, the second notch, the third notch, the fourth notch, and then the fifth. So as you guys can see, the transition in the fade is slowly but surely coming together, and he just playing around in the fade, just getting everything to look right. And I'm just loving this about the design because I'm actually watching it come together, and it's just so many things that you can add in and out of designs to make them 10 times better than what they are. A design is so much more than the outline. Like simple things like fading into a design can take a design to a whole different level, and I think that is so dope in my industry. Like the level of an imagination is through the roof. Like I just love seeing all of the new things in the culture, and not saying that this design is anything that's new, but looking at the techniques, because this is something that's not a strong suit. So when I see it and it's this simple, it kind of blows my mind. And I think that's the dopest part about this industry and barbering period, that it's just always gonna be so many dope projects out there, so many people always adding flair and pop to retro cuts and playing with designs, and it's just a dope thing. This is a very creative industry, so if you are in this industry, like, be honored. Like, this is a dope industry. So he go in using some color in a business card, and he's basically spraying at a 4 to 5 inch radius, giving himself enough room so he can add the real transition to the design. Add most of the color towards the bottom of the petals and towards the outline of the design where the hair is more stronger at giving it a real 3D dimensional look. It's simple things like this. Adding color can take designs to a whole different level. Like, you don't always have to add color in just lineups or bringing somebody lineup back. You can actually add color in designs and add so much pop and flair to the designs, as you guys can see. It helps the transition when adding the color towards the heaviest parts of the hair, which is towards the bottom of the petals. And then he goes in with his design brush, and this is his little tool, his little secret that he posted on an Instagram snap story, that this is what really helps him do a lot of detail work in his designs. So basically adding a lot of flair, so much style and creativeness during the haircut. It's just dope watching this masterpiece come together. Then he go in with a straight razor and slowly but surely stretch the skin and angle his razor at a 45-degree angle, going in and cleaning up every line in the design. And you just gotta stay consistent. You can't dig. You gotta be real careful in situations like this. With this specifically, he's using a Turkish razor, and with this specific razor holder, it is very hard to cut your clients. You can still nick your clients, but you want to get real detailed, tight areas. The razor handle is so thin and so skinny that it's just so easy to deal with when doing real tight designs or tight lines, and you want to do hard detail work. So if you want to know what the razor is, that is a Turkish razor in his hand. Always stretching the skin and bringing the razor back to the line. It's consistency. And he goes behind that with the T outliners just to completely clean it up. Like, anybody out there who truly plays with their clippers a lot, or who really play with like details and getting things real clean, know that you don't end on a razor. And then on a razor, it's never how it's completely done. Not saying that that's completely wrong. It's just when you finish with your trimmers, you kind of solidify your lines a little bit more. Not saying that the trimmers are stronger than the razor, but they have a different finish than a straight razor blade. So if you really pay attention to the work, and when doing the detail work, always finish behind something with your trimmers, and I promise you it's gonna give it that much more of a pop. And as you guys can see, the flower design is just looking beautiful. Like, this is just dope, and it's an amazing masterpiece. So shout out to my boy KJ, shout out to his client for hopping in the chair. Her braids is dope, and my boy is smoking this. And he just go and do some detail work with his Andis Masters, because he did solidify a hard line with the razor when he did some cleanup work. So he just gonna try to assist the transition in the pedals right now. Glacier. Then he coming to the fade side, completely closed with his Andis Masters, giving himself about 1/4 of an inch. And he's finna slowly but surely fade all the way up and show you guys the transition. Then he goes in on the second notch and fades up under that. Then he goes in on the third notch right here and fades in up under that. Then he goes completely open and just finishes up the fade. And he's gonna go in with a 1/16 guard and clean up a lot of the dark spots that are popping out. Right now we just detailing with the 1/16 guard, which is always important. It's one of the most important things that you could ever do when cutting or when doing some fade transition work, especially with masters. I try to tell and preach a lot, like with that masters completely opening that 1/16 guard, you can do a lot of damage, you can do a lot of detail work, you can create the transition that you want to, and it's so much easier to fade. As you guys can see, my boy got the fade together, he got the design together. We smoking right now. So he go in using his Andis T outliner, starting from the bottom, working his way up the curve. Like I try to tell y'all all the time, it's the art of the Chicago. See? So I want to give a shout out to my boy because he's smoking right now. Shout out to Germ Boomin' because this beat hard. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get alerted when these videos come out. I promise y'all, we got a bunch of bangers in the chamber. It won't slow down. The footage only gonna get better, and we only going up from here. Like, that's what it is. It's 2019, this year the creators, we in that bag. My boy KJ ain't doing nothing but inspiring everybody, man. And my boy got a channel that's coming. He gonna be strictly designs, he gonna be a lot of other cuts, he gonna be doing a lot of crazy things, just some different education out there for y'all. So he go in with his Slimline Pros and he just gonna clean up one of the eyebrows. He didn't get the footage for the second eyebrow because the camera died, but he actually killed these eyebrows. So he go in with the Slimline Pros, basically framing out the brows exactly how he want, getting the arch that he want. And then he's gonna go in and clean up the bottom part using the corner of the Slimline Pros just to detail work and get the eyebrows as clean as possible. And then he goes in with a straight razor just to assist it and always clean up at the end just to really get it as clean as possible. Clean eyebrow. So this is just how you do a dope transformation freestyle design on a woman. My boy KJ killed this cut. He got plenty more to come. Watch out for that channel. That channel is coming. Y'all know what time it is. Hashtag TBT. It's the Beam Team. Let's get this money and let's